Welcome, Kimberly, Jassy, and Georgie, my beautiful speakers for today, as we talk about reclaiming your power during difficult times. All of these incredible women have been on a path of reclaiming their power. They've started, with uncertainty, this feeling of not knowing who they are, what they're here to do. And today I'm looking at these women with a big smile on my face and such gratitude in my heart. And I'm so grateful that you are all here sharing your beautiful stories. So we're going to go around and you're just going to do a little intro of yourself. Say your name, introduce yourself. What do you do? And why are you here? Why is this topic so important to you? Go, Kimberly. You're at the top of my screen.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Jade Rose. I'm a kinesiologist and Centaura practitioner. And this topic really excited me because I've gone through such a journey with my power and giving it away, basically, in relationships and friendships, being very dominated and being very like a bit of a sheep, following what other people say, tell me to do. And probably over the last 10 years has been a real journey for me to reclaim my power back and to sit in my power and to not take any BS, like really speaking my truth and knowing who I am, knowing my uniqueness, and staying in my lane, which is like super important for me. So really, talking about staying in my lane and letting go of all attachments so that I can stay in my power.
Beautiful. Amazing. Welcome to the world. Amazing. Jassy.
Hi, my name's Jassy. Yes, I've been on a massive journey of reclaiming my power, probably the same in the last 10 years since I left my husband with 3 very small children. And it has been a massive journey since then. And I still I still am on that journey. It's just really beautiful to be able to claim and be my unique multi-dimensional self in each moment. It's a constant choice, and it's a constant what word am I trying to use? It's constant to be that, to always come back to that, and to be really grounded and connected.
Yeah, so important to be grounded and connected in your power. It's a constant work of art, and it's a constant inner work of yourself and on yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Jassy. Amazing. Georgie.
Good morning. Hi guys, I'm Georgie Kerno. I have my business which is called Elegant Empowerment, which has quite a few branches to it. I'm a Centaura practitioner of light and also a cacao and breathwork facilitator, amongst many other things, workshops and things like that, and I love teaching. Now my journey's been a little bit shorter. It's been about a good 5 years, and it came about because I lost mum pretty early on, 6 years ago, and lost myself in that, and had to basically learn a whole mirage of amazing things, and actually how the universe works and how we work, and how there is such a thing as being in our power, because I knew nothing basically when I started. And so in the last 5 years I've done many modalities and tapped into what tools work for me, and I'm extremely strong and steady within my power, even though we all wobble, to know that what it is to be sovereign and in your divine power, and to, when you get off kilter, to be able to bring yourself back into that center is just, it's been a phenomenal journey. And I love to help women to get into where I'm at, basically, which is empowering them to feel their power and to know how that they can use it and create with it. In life of thriving, because that's what it's all about.
That gave me such goosebumps. What an amazing story of almost, and if I'm listening to what you all are saying, your experiences have brought you to a point of decision a point where you went like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to be like this anymore. What was that pivotal moment in terms of, like, I know that you said, George, that it was when your mum passed away, but after that, what was a pivotal moment where you realized that, you know, what you've gone through, what you've experienced in life has actually brought you to this very moment, and that choice point that you made that allowed you to step into doing what you're doing here? Because I feel like a lot of light leaders, they have this aha moment or awakening moment, or this sense of, okay, I want to do something more. But what was the drive behind it that drove you to make the choices that you made to get into the space of empowerment?
To actually find out that I did actually have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
And that for me, finding out that I was an empath, and so a lot of the things that I was feeling overwhelmed with and didn't understand, and that was affecting my energy massively, to know that it wasn't mine, and that I had a choice of giving that energy or choosing to be in that space, or this other choice which I never knew about before. And being able to make that choice was massive for me. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Stepping on that path and knowing that we have the intuition that these things are real, you know, because back then I knew nothing, and to follow our heart on the things that are for us, that light us up, and that's the path. That was the key, because as soon as I started doing that, then everything started synchronizing and falling into place, and layers dropping away, and yeah.
Yes, so true, so true. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I think it was that moment, well, there's actually many moments, that you're very aware that my word and my actions have such a profound effect on other women and other people. By making those choices for ourselves, being teachers and running events or being leaders, that we only need to say one word or do one thing and the ripple effect is huge.
Yeah.
And also my children, like making that choice. If I change for myself, I'm changing for my children. That was a really big driver for me. Yeah.
Yes, so that is so powerful, because the work that we do right here ripples out to everything that we do, our business, our relationships. You know, the abundance is available to all of us when we start looking within, an abundance in every way, in every form. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And you, Kimberly?
Yeah, I agree. As it comes around holding space, I think, and being having to step up and really kind of own yourself and let go of any feelings of you know, I'm not ready, or you know, I have to be a certain way, because you don't have to be a certain way, and you don't have to be perfect to be in your power, and to make that choice to lead others and to hold space, and to trust yourself, really. So that was, it's been my process.
Good point.
What about,
we're far from perfect day, all of us.
yeah, exactly. And why do we have to be perfect? You know, there is perfection and imperfection.
Yeah.
There's perfection and imperfection. You know, there is no perfect. It's just what it is. And I feel, you know, you were talking, and I can hear all of you, you know, talking about your different stories, but I feel that a lot of us hold on to these real unhelpful stories that we tell ourselves. And it's about reminding ourselves constantly that we don't have to have all our shizzle together to be able to do the things that we came here to do.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
I feel that some of the stories that I definitely struggled with through my life is like, oh my gosh, this feels too huge. Will people get me? Will they get me? Will they understand what I'm trying to bring into this world? And that made me procrastinate. Man, I was like, you know, not wanting to do it and putting it off for months and months on end, because I was like, I'm not ready yet. This world is not ready for it just yet. In effect, I wasn't ready. I was getting in my own way. So think about those moments that you, and maybe perhaps you're still experiencing it now, where you are navigating things in your life and these unhelpful beliefs and stories that you're telling yourself, which every single person, we have this, right? It's being human. It's part of being a human being and navigating the ego self and the spiritual self. So tell me about those stories that really stopped you in your life from moving forward into your power, and how you overcame that.
For me, it was being afraid to be different and unique, because the way I do things here in my community, no one else does. To put on dances and events where are like light code activations, and to be freely speaking my soul speak and being me was absolutely terrifying. And I just did it anyway, because I know how many people need the medicine that I'm here to give. So yeah, that was huge for me.
And soul speak is actually so new in the grand scheme of things, right? It's like,
yeah, I want to make it normal.
Yeah, what are you saying? You know, I don't understand what you're saying. Are you talking rubbish? And you're actually asking yourself, like, is this real? Is this true? What I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it making any sense? But I always say to people, your soul knows. It's a soul to soul conversation, right? It's not, a human doesn't have to understand it at the level that we think that I suppose that we translate the whole world in, right? We want to make sense of things, but it's not possible.
Yeah, and then when we receive the feedback from others of the profound shifts, it's just more confirmation for you to go, okay, it's okay to be me.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep going so that they can be them.
Totally. Really showing up as you, being authentic, your real true self. And this is what these conversations are all about. Real conversations about real people, about real experiences that we've had, and being unapologetic about whatever we've gone through, and being vulnerable and strong at the same time, because we all are going through this, and we're not going to move into a higher consciousness unless we are revealing our true selves and sharing that truth with other people. And this is what's so important for the awakening of humanity, and the breaking down the old paradigms that we have of not being seen, you know, not showing your vulnerability, not showing that actually you haven't got all your shit together, right? Because it's important. It's important to be all of you. Yeah. Georgie and Kimberly, what do you want to share about that?
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot around, you know, self-judgment. And when I tune in to, you know, what was really holding me back, and from being there, it's just that you know, that people pleasing and that need to be liked, and being able to discern, you know, with your actions of what are the reasons you're doing this for, you know, and really like bringing it back to your power, and because you're sharing your uniqueness and who you are and everything about you, rather than it being around being liked or people pleasing. So yeah, it's just I've been on a huge journey of self-judgment and self-doubt. And really, like I said, again, like letting go of the attachment of what anybody actually thinks about you. You know?
That's a big one, isn't it?
It's huge. Yeah, what anyone actually thinks about you. Like that. I mean, I love that old saying, what anyone thinks about you is none of your business.
Yeah.
You know, like that's one of my favorite things to tell my clients, because it really doesn't matter, you know, what other people think. And especially when you get judgment from others or criticism from others, or, you know, people telling you, you know, different ways to do things, it's really important to take what resonates with you and let the rest go, and really, you know, not give a hoot what anybody else thinks about you.
Yeah, using your discernment is so key. Hey, using your intuition, that's your guiding force, that's your compass that you use to be able to go, hell yes, heck no, whatever it is, and really standing strong with your yes and your no, and having a full body feeling around what is right for you, what is true for you, is so important, especially in the times that we live in right now. Hey.
Absolutely.
Yeah, George.
Yeah, so I've not really struggled with what people think of me as I've grown up. I've always been fairly strong in who I am, but what I really found hard was the imposter syndrome, because I'm so one of my biggest values is integrity. So for me, if I'm not embodying what I believe and what I do, I find for myself it's very hard for me to go out and teach that to somebody else, because if I'm not doing it, then how can I tell someone else to do it? Or the other part to it was, who am I to be doing what I'm doing in terms of worthiness, being worthy of sharing this, and teaching people, the importance of things, but having embodied it myself. So those were the bigger blocks for me, the worthiness and the imposter syndrome.
Yeah. I feel a lot of light workers struggle with this, because it's very much aligned with the old way of like, I have to have a certificate or a qualification, or I have to show something in the physical for me to be validated or feel validated through the work that I'm doing here, right?
Yeah.
And so many people, many light workers are not out there doing what they are here to do, because they're searching for this validation of like, what's that thing that's going to make me feel ready? What's the thing that's going to make me feel that I am meant to do this now? And it's so interesting, because yesterday I was talking to a beautiful woman that's joined a new program of mine, and she said, Nat, I just saw your post and there was a soul calling. I don't know what it's all about, but I feel like I need to do it. And she said to me, even though I don't understand it, I know that I've only read 1 or 2 words, and it's okay for me. It's okay for me to know that this is okay, because it's a soul thing. So how we work now is we work with the soul. We're no longer working with 1,000 certificates and 1,000 things. It's soul work. And it's important for people to understand that if your soul calls you forward to do the work, that's enough. You are enough. Your gifts and your medicine and your magic is enough here to share to this world. And it is so needed, so needed in this time. So I feel if we can get out of our own way and take that first step, just like that woman took that step, she was like, I don't know why I'm here, but I'm here. I feel that this real calling to be here, and it doesn't matter, I'm just going to take that leap of faith. And I feel like that's what's needed as well, is that leap of faith, right?
Yeah.
That's how I've done all my trainings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything I do, actually.
Yeah. So
well, we're taught to be, we're taught to be so much in the opposite direction, aren't we? We're not taught to trust ourselves. We're taught to see outside of ourselves, when everything is inside, everything is within us. But we're not, we're not taught that. We're taught the opposite. So it's very hard. It's a long journey for people to come back to that after being distracted in the opposite direction.
When you're talking about everything is inside of yourself, what do you mean by that? If people are like, I hear people, we always say everything's inside of you, but if you can say to people, what does that actually mean? What does it mean to you in real words, so they can understand that? What would you say?
For me personally, it means that the entire wisdom of the universe is within me. And so there's nothing on the outside.
Yeah, so true.
And it took me, even though I knew that, because as you say, we hear it all the time, everything's within you, you don't need anything else. But it took me probably a good 3 years from knowing that to moving to an understanding of that, to then moving into an embodiment of it and fully feeling it. It took quite a while. Yeah.
Mm. And for you, other woman?
Mm.
I have a truck going by, so I'm going to let it go by.
It's okay. We can't hear it.
Oh, you can't?
No, it's all good.
Oh, is that someone's dog?
Sounds like it's a cough.
Is that your dog?
Kimberly.
Yeah, I think just yeah. So I can't remember the question.
So we talk about, everything is within. So how would you describe and explain that to people, what it means to you?
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I feel what it means to me is definitely intuition, like what feels right in my body and what doesn't feel right. And it's getting more and more clear as time is going on now, which is what is a F yes and a F no, you know. So for me, that is like everything is within, you know, all the decisions to make, all the choices to make, all the answers, you know, to all the questions is within.
Yeah,
it means to me.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. And that intuition is the universal wisdom that's flowing through us. Every single part of us, we have access. We're multidimensional beings. We have access to the universe's wisdom, the Akashic records, all the libraries of wisdom that we could ever imagine flows through us. And if we allow it, it's about awakening that. But we can only do that if we do the inner work. If we look at at those stories that we tell ourselves, are they true? Who do they belong to? Are they even our stories? Is the energy that we're walking around with, is it our own energy, or are we tapping into the collective manifestation field and feeding off the density and the stories from that? Or are we digesting television programs and social media and all of that stuff that is influencing our decision making, that's influencing our divine channels, our wisdom that's flowing through us? And how are we relating to those relationships? Are we consciously aware of what's going on in our lives on a daily basis? I feel like it's a moment to moment thing for me these days, where we really truly aware of our energy, of what we are bringing it into our being. And so it's having that inner awareness and that intuition. And with this comes confidence and courage and empowerment. And this is how you can hold your power much more, by having or by tapping into that inner wisdom, right?
I like to imagine it like we're a multifaceted diamond, right? And we've lived all these lives and we have all this wisdom and all these experiences that we can tap into and remember when we want. And it's like someone will say something, or you'll see something, or you experience something, and it's like, I remember, and we unlock. It's like life is that journey of unlocking those little facets of ourselves. We have wisdom from everywhere and anything is possible. We're just taught that it's not.
Oh, I love that. Anything is possible. Everything is possible when we put our mind to it, right? And it's so interesting because I want to talk about, Georgie said the word empath. I want to talk about this journey of the empath, the sensitive, and actually that it is a journey of empowerment. I remember the first time that I started channeling information about empaths and who they are and what they're here to do, because I'm an empath. I've been a sensitive and an empath all my life, felt very, very tuned into the world and felt everything, experienced everything in my body. And in a way that was disempowering for me, or I felt disempowered through it, because I felt the world so much, and I felt this intensity of other people's emotions and their pain, their physical pain in my own body, and I thought that it was my own. And I went through a period of feeling very disempowered, feeling like there was something wrong with me. And then when I stepped onto my journey and I realized, hang on a minute, I'm healing people here that have gone through exactly the same journey that I've gone through. And they have been on antidepressants for the last 10 years because they felt something was wrong with them. And they felt that they were sick, but they weren't sick. They just needed to learn how to work with their energy, how to work with their emotions, how to digest those emotions, cleanse your energy. And so people would come to me and I'd cleanse their energy and heal them, and they'd be like a new person and come off antidepressants straight away. Well, not straight away, you've got to wean yourself off it, obviously, but it changed my perception of who I am and how I work with this world in a whole new way, and how I hold my power in a completely different way.
It's huge. The empath thing is huge. You know, I when I first realized I was an empath was probably when I was about 18 years old, and it changed my life, like realizing, you know, having that awareness that all these thoughts and overwhelms that I was having, you know, weren't mine, and noticing when I would walk into a room and suddenly, you know, my head would start going bananas. And for me, it's been a huge journey in my head. You know, I'm very auditory, and so I get a lot, and it's very like kind of a lot of mind stuff. So it's been able to really again discern like what is mine and what is not, because otherwise it just wreaks havoc for me. So you know, and just really being able to it's just to discern that is huge.
And for you especially, Kimberly, you know, I know that you're really sensitive. Your etheric field is quite open in terms of the energy that you receive through that space, and the information that gets translated through that subtle body, that subtle field. And so when we're receiving information into your etheric field, it sends messages into your physical body, your mental and emotional field, that then sends these messages. And it's like, oh my gosh, this is my nervous system is you know, overwhelmed. This is too much information. And it's about the more we clear our energy, the more we learn to work with our own energy, and trusting that the messages that's coming through, that we can actually manage the messages that's coming through our body system, through actually clearing our energy, our etheric field, strengthening our energy as well. It changes everybody's life. And I know that we've certainly been working on that with you and for you, Kimberly, and it really is helping you to understand how to work with your empathy, your sensitivity in a whole new way.
Yeah, definitely. I think it really is a journey, you know, like being an empath is a huge journey. So it's our greatest gift, you know, like it really is, to be able to hone in and see what's going on for anybody. That, you know, that's my gift, to be able to see somebody and see what's going on for them and know what's going on for them, you know, as part of why I'm here. So yeah,
I always feel that we're here as empaths because we've been born into this world to see and feel it in a different way, and that we are here as the change makers because of that. And so it is an incredibly powerful gift if used in the right way. A lot of light workers can move into the victim space because of that, in the overwhelmed space. And so I feel light workers that have mastered that, especially those that are working with the empaths, the sensitives especially, are in an incredible space to empower more people to do what they came here to do. Yeah. Georgie, Jessie, what have you got to say?
So when I found out, it was a post that you posted, Nat. It was literally, it was literally five years ago, just before I met you. You literally did a small post on Empath that I never heard of. And I read it and I was like, oh my God, because at that period in my time, I was to the point like, what the F is wrong with me? I'm happy one minute, I'm sad and depressed the next minute. I have no reason for this. I didn't understand it. So as soon as I read that post and then Googled it like you do, I was like, oh my God. And it was literally the biggest aha moment at the beginning of my journey, because I could finally understand why I become hypersensitive, oversensitive, why I burst into tears when I listen to the news. All of that stuff suddenly made a massive amount of sense to me. And so to be able to understand your energy and how it's affected, to be able to clear it, and then to be able to stop that from happening, which is one of the major things that I teach people as well, to be able to protect their own energy and not walk into a shopping mall and get completely wiped, which is what used to happen to me as well, is it's life-changing, as everybody will say. It's one of the most paramount things that you can do for yourself to become empowered and to understand how you actually work and how everything affects you. So yes, it's a massive thing to find out.
Oh, empath, empowering empaths. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
And you, Jessie?
Well, I agree with everyone, really. It's the same. That journey of noticing there was nothing wrong with me, because I thought there was, because I could feel everything and I didn't know anyone else the same as me. And I guess for me, my practices and being in nature and stuff like that has really helped me to learn a lot about how to keep myself in my center, so that I'm not being too swayed by anything else. Particularly when I used to run events, actually, I used to go through a big process after it, because I used to take other people's stuff on, and I never had anyone to learn from. So it was just learning from my own experiences, and now I'm not effective like I used to be. It used to be quite profound.
Yeah.
So it's been a real journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is so good. And also I find that our words, our words are empowering us or keeping us in a space of fear. Way back, I was teaching about, and Spirit showed me how when we speak to ourselves, when we think, we actually create a vortex of words around us. So it's like literally like a whirlwind of words. These words can create a barrier, or it can create or call in. You can be magnetized through your words. So call in more of your power, or repel it. Okay, repel certain things. It was amazing when and I can still see it in my mind's eye now, that every single thing and thought and story, and the more we are critical, self-critical, the more we actually build a wall of words around us. And those words are not empowering, or words like, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, I can't do this, I'm not capable, oh, I'm so stupid. All of those words are all of this stuff, this gumph that we have within our communication field, if you can call it that, which then translates into the universe. And that frequency then sends this message to the universe that that's what we think we are. So we're going to be sending you more of those experiences. Yeah. So how can we empower ourselves through our words? What have you found works?
I've always been one on affirmations. Like, I think when I first discovered affirmations, I was like, oh my God, this, just saying something continually, and that's repetition, that self, the positive beliefs really shifted things for me. Because for me, it's always been my mind, and going on, when you get onto that rabbit hole, to how to pull yourself out of it, because that can get tricky. And yeah, positive affirmation. And then I discovered, when I started studying kinesiology, I realized that not all affirmations were actually causing that positiveness in your body if there's a stress response to it. So then actually knowing how to whole body test yourself to the affirmation to see if you're actually congruent with it or not, because that's like super important. And then, replacing those negative beliefs with the positive, of course, And also just being really aware of my language, like hugely aware of my language. And I've been doing this for very many years, and I correct myself. Like, I don't use words like hard. I don't use words like I can't. I don't use words like wrong, you know, like I just, and if I do find myself, I and it's kind of an NLP technique, but I flip it so it's not that easy, you know, just that slight shift. And I teach that to my clients as well with their language, just to be really aware of what you say, because it reflects out there. So yeah, it doesn't mean that nothing's ever hard, but rather than using that hard and closing that energy, replacing it with, well, it's not that easy. You know, replacing it with the positive word, but still being able to speak about how you feel. So yeah, just being super conscious of my language and how affirmations are actually affecting my body.
That is so interesting, Kimberly, that you say that some are not congruent, some statements might not be congruent with you. And I totally get that, because if you've still got gumph inside of you that you are needing to deal with, that statement might not penetrate until you've actually gone and done the work. And I'm seeing this a lot with clients and things, you know, they go through a journey and you end up, you know, taking them through this space and this journey, but it's not until they're ready or for it to land, until they've done the work and gone through the different stages of upgrade. It's like you can't really skip a step. Okay, you have to go through the motions, the understanding, the learning of the lesson before you can actually get to that point. So I do feel I am statements are really powerful though. And I love the fact that you say, you know, having that little bit of almost like you almost giving yourself a little nudge, you're celebrating yourself. And I use the one, it's okay not to be okay, or it's okay. I don't have to have all the answers just yet. It's okay. Just that little bit of a sentence going, all right, it's almost like you can breathe, hey, and go again. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Who's next? Georgie, Jessie? You want to share anything about that?
Yeah, I definitely, it was the first thing that you taught me like 5 years ago was that energy holds words, which I wasn't aware of before. And so the first thing that I did was stop using a lot of words and that negative self-talk. And it took a while, but every time I did it, because I would do it a lot without even realizing, every time I did it, I would just like go, no, and then say the opposite. And I've got to the point where I don't have hardly any negative, very, very tiny, maybe negative self-talk now. And two of the words that I try to use, or try not to use now, which is very difficult, is need and should for me, or when I'm talking to clients as well, because they're words that are already preloaded and there is no need and there is no should. So I'm wiping those words out of my vocabulary, or have done for some time now, and replacing them with maybe, you know, maybe this would help, and just spinning it because of the energetics behind the words. I pick up on energy behind words very easily. It's something that whenever I read something else that's someone's written, if there's a pushy energy in that word from that person, I feel it very quickly, and I'm like, nah, it's not for me, because they're pushing their energy upon you rather than giving you that free will of choice, which words do. So I'm very sensitive to words, and I love the way that you can use them in such a positive manner to bring about different frequencies and energies within the things that you do or what you're offering and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Becoming a wordsmith, right? A divine wordsmith, and weaving the magic through your words. And I also feel it's also the attachment that you have to words. It's like having a piece of cake, right? If you think that cake is bad, it is going to be bad. It's going to, you know, give you frumpy bits or flumpy bits or whatever you want to call it, because you already thought that cake is going to make you like that, you know. So it's really what is the emotional attachment that you have to that word? But also, if you keep on saying the word, it's like you're creating a pattern. If you keep on, then, you know, it becomes a belief. It becomes part of you. It's like brushing your teeth every morning. Okay, that's a pattern. That's what you do every single day. So if you decide, no, I'm not going to brush my teeth in the morning now, I'm going to brush it, you know, at 11 o'clock or whatever the case might be, breaking that pattern or creating a pattern interrupt is going to start shifting your mindset around things, shifting your intensity and the load of energy that you have around words or around that specific action or pattern that you are playing out in your life. And your patterns can be either empowering you or keep you playing small. And it can keep you in this space of uncertainty, okay? Because what's a pattern? It's a safety blanket, right? So we wrap ourselves in a pattern, in a safety blanket, and it's like, I'm safe here. I'm not going to step out. I'm not going to take that next step because it feels safe here. Yeah. So, Jessie, what did you want to say about that?
Oh, there's a few things. I guess what comes to me is, yes, the I am statements really worked for me, but it's more about being in practice, sitting in practice a lot and allowing spirit talk to move through me, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's what I feel like I need to share. And then allowing that to move through me as often as possible. And it's been a real journey, especially when I'm teaching, to allow that voice to move through me so that my words are always inspiring or positive, and really discerning what words to even allow to come out of me rather than just talking. Like I never just talk. It's like, okay, what do I actually need to say here? I would rather be silent and say nothing if it's not going to raise the vibration of the space I'm in.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like, and it takes time to come to that, and trusting what you say, and being okay to give beautiful, loving words to people that you don't even know. Yeah,
I love that, Jessie. And I feel that people that really sit in their truth now, they don't have time for fluffy words. You know, there's no time for that anymore. It's like it comes from the soul, it channels from the soul. So every word has frequency and meaning and love and empowerment, and whatever that is, it carries magic and medicine.
yeah. You could say 5 words to someone and completely change their day, or you could have a fluffy, silly conversation which is meaningless.
Yeah,
it's a choice.
Which also brings me to no words. Which brings me to how powerful it can be to, when someone is talking, to listen and to be the frequency that's receiving but also giving at the same time. Conversations, listening conversations can be really, really powerful. And here we are talking, and so we're talking about things that really matter, but actually when you're in a conversation with a client or in a relationship conversation where you're talking about matters of the heart or things that those people really need to get out of their system, it's so important to be able to, I feel like it's almost like mastering the art of listening. It's like a gift that you have, right? And it's important because sometimes we don't need to necessarily give people advice. We just have to be there for them, right?
Yep.
And that is empowering in itself. It's created this beautiful space to hold space for a person like that. Yeah. Ooh, lots of beautiful conversations that we can have around this. If there is something that you want to, because we literally have 10 minutes, so we've got to wrap it up. I feel like we can talk about this forever. But if there was something that you could share with the people out there around, what would be the next step for them to take to move more into a space of, especially during these difficult times, having such uncertainty, having, you know, looking outside in our world where we can see so many different things breaking down, people losing their jobs, relationships breaking up. There's a lot going on, right? But then there's also this space of all possibilities, the space where we can create new, where we can step into who we really are here meant to be and who we've come here to be as souls. So what would the message be that you would like to leave people with?
Trust.
Yeah.
And surrender. Be you.
What if people don't know how to be themselves?
Well, then there's nothing they need to be but themselves, I guess. They don't need to be anything other than who they are in each moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing you saying is just be aware of how you are in every moment.
And if you're not okay, then it's okay. And if you're great, then it's great. It's perfect.
Yeah, because now is where we can make the change, right? Now is where we can empower ourselves or go into victim mode. Now is where we can, where we come to that choice point, I suppose, where we go, what do I do now? What do I want now? How do I want to move forward?
Yeah, we always have a choice. You know, we do. We always have a choice. And if you don't feel like you've chosen what's in your highest good, then choose again. You know, we have a choice in every moment. So just keep choosing what is in your highest good and what makes you feel good and what makes you feel joy. And trust that, you know, if you're living your purpose and you're passionate about what you do and it brings you joy, then you'll always be supported. So trust that, because that is huge, and take that leap of faith and step into the unknown, because that's where all the juiciness is. And the big thing is to let go of attachments, which is like, you know, it's so liberating when you do. And then it's just having that, be aware, you know, have that consciousness of awareness, and don't be afraid to reach out for support if you do need help with shifting this stuff. Because yeah, it's have your go-to person, have your, you know, support, and that go-to person can change, you know, but just have that support, and yeah, and just keep letting go, letting go.
That's beautiful. Thank you, Kimberly. Georgie.
I think my suggestion would be, if you're finding yourself stuck and wobbly, is to zoom out first of all with your perspective, because when you're right in the center of it, it's always very difficult to discern what is yours and what's not. And when you've zoomed out, to stand on your 2 feet and feel them on the ground, put your hand on your heart and ask the question within, and you'll get your answer, and it will feel right. And then to trust that, to trust what comes through from you, and to really remove yourself from the fear and the uncertainty and the chaos that is our world at the moment, and be in your center, because that is always where your truth lies. None of that other stuff is yours. So that would be mine.
Always be in your center. What is your center? Center is love. It's the love of source, the love that is available to all of us, the possibilities that's available to all of us. It's that void that we go in where we connect with our higher self, right? Where we connect with the divine, the beings that are here to really support humanity during this great awakening, during this beautiful space where we can move from fear into higher consciousness and understanding that we have a choice. We have free will. We can do anything and everything that we set our minds to. And I feel one of the most important things that also empowered me was, excuse me, being in my channel, like you say, Jessie, connecting to your higher self, connecting to source, connecting to God, and really understanding and translating those messages through you and feeling the love, and then you can start radiating that out, and through that you can take steps of empowerment and move forward with that inner knowing that everything is okay. It will be okay, no matter how hard my life is right now, no matter how, you know, things are breaking down around me in the world. It's like you're in the eye of the storm and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. And trusting your body too. You know, your body, if people aren't other inclined on being in channels and things, is start with your body. Start with your body first. It has so much more wisdom than we ever give it credit for.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what Georgie talks about when she talks about embodiment. Okay. You got to feel the feels to heal yourself. You got to feel the feels to empower yourself. You got to work with what you feel first, embodying every single emotion, dealing with those emotions that you're not necessarily wanting in your life anymore, and also the embodiment of your soul light. Do you have a different example of that, maybe, guys or women? What does embodiment mean to you?
I feel like embodiment means for me like embodying what I teach, embodying who, embodying, you know, what I learn, and embodying what I teach to my clients, what I talk to my clients, you know, embodying my knowledge, my wisdom, and yeah, that self-love.
Yeah, beautiful. Georgie?
Embodiment for me means that the way I live, my beliefs, my wisdom, everything is within each cell in my body, but is also fully connected to the earth and to the universe as well. So it's, I'm all one. Yeah, completely embodied in.
One
that makes sense.
But connected. I love that. And Jessie?
Well, very similar. So it would mean, for me, it means being my multi-dimensional self, my light body, my soul in every cell of my body, and being fully anchored into the earth everywhere.
Yeah.
So I can access anything in my body, and being at home in my body. Present.
That's so important.
So important. I love that. That just gives me chills, being at home in my body. I think that's a journey for everybody. It really is, being here on this earth, having a human body. It's like everybody has to go through that in their lives to actually be at home and feel safe in their bodies.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually want to add to that, because this is what I find. We've come here, we've chosen this human experience, right? Why do we continue to want to not be? Why do we want to continue to not experience everything that we can experience here? Obviously in alignment with love, with source, with the energy, the peace, the co-creation, the beauty, the grace, every single joyful moment that we can have here on this earth. Okay, so why are we so hard on ourselves, and why are we trying to pull away from? And I'm hearing a lot of people, or I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, I want to go home. Your home is here in your heart, right? So when you embody all parts of yourself, call back all parts of yourself, which is your multidimensionality, but you feeling that within your physical experience, and then sharing that and radiating that out into your physical, then life becomes much easier, much more enjoyment. There's enjoyment. Yeah.
It's painful being human.
Well,
literally, it's really painful. Like it's interesting that you brought it up, because I haven't had the thoughts for quite some time, but last week, and again it came up with another friend's child who doesn't want to be here at the moment, it's hard. It's hard and painful to feel everything and to see humanity and what it's doing to itself or has done to itself. And to hold that hope and that light that you know, and the faith that it will change and it is going to change for the better. But at the moment, I totally get it when people don't want to be here, who don't understand why they're here and what they're capable of. Completely get it.
That's why we're here as light workers. That's why we're here, to show people what's possible, right? To show them why they're here, to activate their gifts, to show them that they have capabilities and abilities, and to ignite their hearts again to what is possible, and to not let them stay in that pain, to not let them, or not let them sounds weird, you know, to guide them to understand that there is a different way, to allow them to see that there is a different way, and that yes, it's okay to feel your pain. Go there, because you've got to feel that pain, that shadow side, to know what the opposite is, right? So this is the polarity, the choice point that we have, and building that bridge between A and B. That's your journey that you walk upon to get to where you want to get to. But for so long, humanity has been sitting in this pain, and it's about us celebrating those beautiful souls and saying, it's okay not to be okay, but you do have a choice, and let me show you what's possible through us showing up the way that we are showing up, authentically, unapologetically, empowered in our own truth, as light leaders and as beings here that is here to live a life that we love. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, I feel like it's a lot to do with as well, you know, it's having lived so many lives. And, you know, they say past lives, but it's all happening, obviously, you know, multidimensionally, and just being, you know, timelines and all these like effects of like why we are like we are, that, you know, we don't even understand a lot of. So yeah, there's so many influences, I feel, that can,
we
be
are so intricate, aren't we?
So intricate. Yeah.
Right, Jessie, did you want to add anything to that?
I just think also because there's the constant distortion of separation going on around us all the time. Makes a difference.
Yeah.
Particularly those who find it challenging to discern yet, or aren't fully anchored or grounded or at home in themselves. It's more challenging for them.
Yeah. And so this has been caused by the matrix of control, or the fear codes, the slavery codes, right? That we are all working towards, I suppose, especially the light of source. They're working towards dissolving or transforming that density back into light, so that it can be used for good, so that we can hold on to the experiences, hold on to the moments of growth, the lessons from that, but then move into the space of, okay, empowerment, right? What do I do now? You know, great stories from people who have grown up on the streets and became world leaders here to change humanity. Great stories of people being so resilient and so adaptable. And that's who human beings are. We have the power within us. We have that love, that force, that driving force of love within us, that so we can use our pain and experiences to be the difference, create the difference that we want to see here. The change as such. And on that note, my loves, that's thank you so much for this beautiful conversation. It's been amazing today, and honestly I think we need to do a part 2, because we can talk forever, but it's been really beautiful. I will share your website details on this post as well and underneath this video, but until we speak again, you know, please keep joining these conversations. These conversations are here to awaken your hearts and to raise the consciousness of humanity and to bring through our love and our wisdom and real stories from real people. Until we speak again, see you soon.
Thank you, Natali.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.